Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. My name is Jay Eizefa Okale. You're welcome to this week's edition of the program, Eyes on Corruption. And today's topic is citizens' active participation is key to a nation's development. Before we go ahead, just sit back and enjoy the jingles, and we'll be back shortly. Thank you.
Eyes on Corruption, Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria, GCSDN presents Eyes on Corruption, a weekly x-ray of social and political issues. Eyes on Corruption, an expose on issues that bother on corruption-related practices in Nigeria. Eyes on Corruption, informative, educative, and enlightening. Eyes on Corruption, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Join us on our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and our website, gcsdn.org. Host, J. Ehizefua Ohali.
Once again, welcome to the program. Today's topic is citizens' active participation is key to a nation's development. And that is true. It is said in other climes, citizens' active participation, whether in holding government accountable or in performing their civic responsibilities and their enjoying the rights and privileges, they all amount to a situation whereby giant developmental strides begin to happen in a country. As it applies to the nation Nigeria, it is evidence that most of the citizens have actually been kind of passive or nonchalant in monitoring and following up with the affairs of the government of the day. And to that extent, we have noticed in the past decades of democracy in the country a lot of issues that borders on government's insensitivity to the plight of the people, government's irresponsibility, politicians' wickedness, and lack of desire to do the needful as the true servants of the people. And to that extent, Nigerians must wake up to a new reality to see to it that every citizen is, first of all, aware of his rights, his privileges, his obligation to the society, his social contract or responsibility to the nation, and he knows what his civic duties are, and of course, his right to challenge what is at variance with the Constitution or what is at variance with his fundamental rights. It is only when we begin to monitor occurrences and ask questions and begin to hold people accountable, those in authority, and begin to hold them accountable and responsible for their actions. Only then can true and giant developmental strife begin to happen in our nation. And to this effect, in reference to the election 2023 that is coming up, I want to indulge every Nigerian to first of all be acquainted with what your rights are, what are your privileges, what it entails to be an electorate, and what the power that resides in the electorate. Having all this awareness will give you the impetus, the courage, and the determination to ask questions where they are supposed to be asked. For example, Nothing stops any citizen from accessing the records from the local government and knowing the amount of revenue that accrues to the local government on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, or on a yearly basis, and what is the budget of the local government, for example, for the specified period, and what has been done within that space of time, and how much resources have been earmarked for such, and how such resources or funds have been spent over the period in question. When citizens begin to ask questions like this, seek information about this, and begin to analyze these situations, it is only then that those in authority will see it as a task that must be accomplished to give the citizens the information that they are asking for. By so doing, where citizens will be acting as checks, on the authorities in the local government. If we channel such energy up to the state and federal levels and ask questions where we are supposed to ask questions, I don't think governments will be having the effrontery to act irresponsibly and do anything they want, knowing fully well that questions will be asked, citizens will be asking questions, and that could lead to agitation and, of course, loss of confidence on such persons in government. And this will automatically transform to no vote for such persons or parties, or a recall, as in the case may be. But the citizens, first of all, have to be able to understand what goes on in these sections of the government or agencies or parastatals, whether in the local government level or in the state levels or even in the federal level. It is only at such point that government will sit up and people in government will actually sit up and be acting very responsibly, knowing that there are consequences for every actions of theirs, knowing that whatever policies they enact that affects the lives of the citizens, there will be questions, there will be consequences in one form or the other, and we could even lead to recall or passing a vote of no confidence on such governments or persons. It is in this light that citizens will be able to check corrupt practices in government, corrupt practices in parastatals, corrupt practices even in our immediate environments and communities. When we begin to ask questions, we begin to analyze situations, this will act as checks and balances for those that are in authority or those that are holding positions of responsibility, with the commensurate consequences and to their actions at whatever point in time. And citizens must, as a matter of fact, be aware of such, so as to be able to check corruption and corrupt practices in government. To this note, I will encourage every Nigerian who is qualified to exercise his civic right as a citizen to go and obtain your personal voters card to be able to exercise your voting rights in the 2023 election. So that prior to that period, people should be able to question and kind of find out from all contestants or candidates in the various elections what they have to offer. If you have a company, for you to get capable hands to run the affairs of the company, you must scrutinize such persons' profiles and juxtapose their experiences, their character with what is there to be done. And it's only by so doing that we're able to actually decipher who is capable or who is the most capable person for the position that is advertised. In like manner, I want every Nigerian to assess the character, competence, capability, and trustworthiness of the various political contestants or candidates in the forthcoming election, so that we do not wallow in the same confused state that we have been in the past decades of governance in Nigeria. The entire political regime in the past have failed woefully in the past decades, and Nigeria is better off than what we are experiencing. Nigerians are more capable than what we are getting as results from our leaders. We have more capable leaders, more leaders with competence and character who can run the affairs of the nation and fix the unending problems that we've been encountering over the decades since independence. The visionary leaders of our nation, the heroes past who sacrificed everything to ensure that we gain independence, but not long before that, they jettisoned the vision and the mission to build a virile nation where no man is oppressed, where brotherhood stands, and begin to toe the line of nepotism, ethnicity, religious fanaticism, and all sorts of parochial views beclouded the sense of reason of our leaders, to the extent that we now find ourselves in the situation we find ourselves today, a situation where insecurity of lives and properties have become the order of the day, a situation where terrorists, bandits hold sway in a nation that once prided itself as the giant of Africa, a nation that once prided itself with military carrying out peacekeeping operations in foreign lands and achieving great success. How have we come to this low in our nationhood? Corruption here, there, and everywhere has brought us this low. And we must nip all this in the bud. Come 2023, this is another decisive period for us to take a stand. Whether we want to remain in Egypt or we want to get to the promised land. It is ours the decision to make. We are not going to settle for crumbs. We are not going to settle for leaders that have no vision. We are not going to settle for leaders that are very parochial in their thinking, that are beclouded with sense of ethnicity and tribalism. Leaders that are beclouded with sense of corruption, corrupt practices, and nepotistic acts and attitudes. We are not going to settle for people who are half-baked. We are not going to settle for leaders that have no clue, that cannot follow up with the trend of activities and nip the problems at its bud. Today, Nigerians are angry and they are hungry for genuine leadership. A leadership that is ready to serve and not leadership that wants to be served. A leadership that is ready to down and is ready to stoop low and do what is needed. This is what Nigerians want at this time. Corruption must be taken out of our political vocabulary in Nigeria. Corruption must be a thing of the past as we begin to strive to build a new nation where peace and justice reigns, a new nation where unity in diversity is a slogan, a new nation where everybody is passionate to put in his or her best to achieve results, not just achieving results, but achieving very quick results for a total transformation of the nation. We cannot continue to do things like this. We cannot continue to tolerate idiots, mediocres in government. We cannot continue to tolerate weaklings and people that have no sense of responsibility in government. We cannot continue to tolerate people that cannot be accountable to the citizen, the electorate, on whose power they rode to office. Today, every Nigerian must have a rethink and decide what kind of Nigeria you want for yourself, what kind of Nigeria you want for your citizens, what kind of Nigeria you want for your children and your children's children, what kind of Nigeria you want to bequeath to your children in the future. The past generations have failed us, the current generations have failed, and the future generations must not fail. Let us make a decisive stand today for a transformational change, a generational change, so that we can bequeath a good nation to our children and our children's children. So that Nigerians home and abroad will be proud to put in their best to salvage this nation and jettison mediocrity. On this note, I will just play a quick video on the failure of the past. Sit back and relax. And watch.
I feel very, very emotional about it because I believe if we had handled the issue of electricity when we were in office by 2005, we would have provided enough electricity for the people of this country. But unfortunately, we did not follow that route.
Did he just admitted to but Alaji Tori Olong, Alaji.
Now that is admission of failure on the part of a former key player in government. He spent 8 years trying to provide electricity, spent 16 billion, and here we are, still having worse darkness than what we had prior to that period. Nigeria must wake up. Leaders must be responsible and accountable to their actions. Every action of any government must be scrutinized and their actions, consequences must be attributed to such actions. Nigerians are wiser today, and we must not fold our hands and watch this nation to derail further than what it has turned to. The onus lies on us all to do our bit, to do the needful. On that note, I will leave you with another video, but in the interim, I urge you to share, like, and follow us on our multiple social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and of course, our website, gcsdn.org. Fellow Nigerians, the onus lies on us all to bequeath a virile nation to our children and our children's children. I want to share these thoughts with you from Seun Okinbaloye of Channels Television. Sit back as I show you this. Sorry, there was a technical hitch. I'm sorry about that. Let's just, in the interim, I just want you to sit back and watch this as. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring you an information as Nigerians in the diaspora under the aegis of Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria. We will be embarking on choosing our preferred presidential candidate for the 2023 election, and I urge you to visit our website www.gcsdn.org and participate in choosing a preferred presidential candidate on the polls that will be organizing on Sunday, the 23rd of October 2022. And the procedure is like this. Go to www.gcsdn.org, click on the menu, click on vote here, click on the best preferred presidential candidate. You have to register your email address before voting. And once you click on register, you register your email, you can only vote once. Let's endeavor to use this poll to choose a preferred presidential candidate. It is based on that poll that we will be deciding on who we are supporting in the 2023 presidential election. Please, Nigerian citizens in the diaspora, we urge you to take part in this poll so as to see who a preferred candidate would be in the 2023 election. On this note, I urge you to please endeavor to take part in this poll on the 23rd of October 2023, and it's a Sunday. Please do your best to take part. Thank you. Let's make determined effort to change the narrative in our country, Nigeria, and ensure that we have a good government that functions like in other climes, so that the potentials, the enormous potentials Nigerians are blessed with, can be adequately harnessed for the good of Nigerians and for the betterment of Africa. It is when Africa has made right its political leadership, only can we assume to be the true giant of Africa. On that note, I urge you to scrutinize your electioneering campaign going on and look at the various candidates for the various posts, both in the local, state, and presidential level, to make your vote, make your honest choice of the right candidate, so that we will no longer be wallowing in darkness as a nation, knowing fully well that we are a blessed nation, only we've not been able to get it leadership right. So please, fellow Nigerians, I urge you to be resolute and determined in that regard. I'm going to share this with you. All right, fellow Nigerians, I leave you with that word. Vote and vote right, and your time is now. Choose the candidate that is competent, that has character, that is trustworthy, and that can deliver the goods. On this note, until I come your way again next week, Thursday, same time, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. The program is Eyes on Corruption, coming to you under the auspices of the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria. Nigeria belongs to us all. We must make concerted efforts to right the wrongs of our past leaders and recoup our nation, whatever remains of our nation, from the hands of rogues and criminals. Thank you and God bless. Bye for now.